Majd will introduce me. My name's Craig Ross. I'm the head of project and building consultancy at Cavendish Maxwell. I've been involved in MAREA since its inception with Doug, and we're both finding issues, as he's already mentioned, with reserve funds and various things that RERA look for technical studies on. I've put up there, it's sometimes called a sinking fund. The reason being, depending on what country you're in, you might know a reserve fund as a sinking fund and a sinking fund as a reserve fund. My definition we've taken from the RICS, being a chartered surveyor, and that's the sinking fund, reserve fund and depreciation charges, second edition. Very interesting read, I can assure you. But I'll give you the finer points from this document, which is a reserve fund. They actually call it a sinking fund, but we know it as a reserve fund. A fund formed by periodically setting aside money for the replacement of a wasting asset, something that has a limited life, that's what a wasting asset is, or loses value over its life. It is usually intended that the fund will be set up and collected over the whole life of the wasting asset. So that's the important things about what a reserve fund is. Something for limited life assets. Moving on to what we're finding in the UAE market, as Doug mentioned, there's 10 firms with the Property Observer Trade Licence, and that gives you the permission with RERA to carry out and submit reserve fund studies. The key points that we're finding out as we've done these reserve fund studies, most buildings tend to have the same issues. These are the main points. So number one, we will fix it when it breaks. Although there may be a good FM system in place, we're still coming up with this. Let's just leave it until it breaks. Let's not worry about how long it's going to take. Let's not worry about the condition. Let's just leave it, and if it breaks, then we'll fix it. Owners, they've put OAs, but generally the owners are unwilling to spend. The OAs among us potentially agree that when they come up with issues that need to be rectified, people are very unwilling to spend their money over and above what needs to be done. I've put OAs unsure of correct methodology. As Doug mentioned beforehand, there's various methods of reserve fund studies that we've seen, some good, some bad, and we've seen some pretty awful ones, to be honest. The issue is, because there's no guidance from RERA, the OAs, they don't know, as long as people have got the Property Observer Trade Licence, RERA will still generally accept them. Rising OPEX costs and unexpected one-off replacements, that's fairly obvious. And then the main key issues, again, Doug's already discussed this in some detail: poor workmanship and materials, equipment selected, and substandard equipment selected, the cheapest options. Low service charge contributions, so lower service charge contributions into the reserve fund. And building deterioration, starting from the back of house. And the realise I put starting from back of houses, the receptions, the gyms, the swimming pool areas are generally kept quite nicely. It's all the stuff in the back of house, the plant rooms, the service areas, that we start to see deterioration. So our process and outline. First stage is the brief. Obtain from your client what the brief is, when they want the study to be carried out, who the FM team is, who the key people are you need to see. And what we're after, the outcome of this phase, without going into too much detail, is what we call the 5 W's: who, what, where, when, how. And we carry out our initial desk study once we've obtained the relevant information. Often our clients, OA managers, have an issue providing the relevant information because they just don't have it. We ask for as-built drawings, sometimes they don't have them. We ask for an asset list, sometimes they just don't have it. These things haven't been passed down from the developer, and it's an issue. It's not essential to carrying out the study, but it certainly makes it a lot more valuable. The capture stage, this involves basically going to the site and capturing all the condition of the asset that we require, looking at the asset register and confirming that it's accurate. And the outcome from this is we want to complete all our condition surveys of all the assets that we've discussed before, and all data has been logged. And then finally, evaluate. So this is where we take all the information on the condition, and we can look at the lifespan of the assets, we look at the cost of these assets, we look at the inflation values, and then come up with our reserve fund calculation model. And the outcome is the reserve fund study report, which is passed on to the OA. And then it's up to them to implement it.